Victory or death.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready? Prepare for blastoff.
Victor Death Starfighters, my name is Karlan Jones, and this is a Starfighter full movie podcast. And today we are going to be watching the 2022 musical biopic drama Elvis. And today I brought along a very special guest. You're like a celebrity where you're like in Athens, right? Is that?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay. Well, I brought along a special guest, Julia Nyunt. Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to watch this. I got a little bowl of popcorn right here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me nibbling a little bit, but
Nice. Now it's like a real movie theater experience.
it really is.
Okay, so we were talking like days before, and we kind of talked about Elvis, and you said you've never really been into his music, his career, all this stuff, and therefore you've never been interested to see this movie. So why?
Well, we are here in the South, in Georgia, but my parents aren't from the South. They're actually from California.
hmm
And they were listening to like Peter Gabriel, and like Steely Dan, stuff like that. Not Elvis. So it's not like it wasn't like a family tradition.
Right.
It is very much a tradition for a lot of people here in the South, but it is not. It was not a family tradition for me, so I was just never into it. I was like, he's got a big, wide face, and a goofy voice, and I don't really get it. I mean, as a kid, I was like, I don't understand why I'm supposed to like this big goofy guy.
Right. And you know what? I was thinking the same thing to myself last night. I was like, as famous as Elvis is and how he's in every single popular culture reference, his music was never played in my household growing up. Never in my parents, never in my grandparents, cousins, all that stuff. He just didn't. He exists throughout movies and TV, sure, but in terms of like music and in different artists that I listened to growing up, they never sampled his stuff, or at least not from my knowledge. So I was like, this guy's not really relevant for me.
Yeah, it's really interesting thing. I have listened to more Elvis like in the past month than in my whole life because I had a student. I had a student that asked me to put together an Elvis medley for them to perform. That's a whole story. That is an example of like a person who's got Elvis as kind of a family tradition.
hmm
There's a lot of baggage attached to that. I don't know if I need to go into it right now.
We'll definitely get into that when we start watching the movie, because you did tell me that you teach music to children.
I do, yeah.
So are you like a singing coach or?
Yeah, I do. I do a little bit of everything, mainly beginner stuff, because, like I said, I'm not really good musician. Um,
Wait, I really don't believe that, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be teaching people.
yeah, well, I mean, they're beginners. I'm just hoping I can kind of stay ahead of them, but
Mm,
I think I'm a good teacher. Just in that it's it's kind of a container for kids to build confidence and start to kind of develop their own agency and autonomy.
right.
Relationship with an adult who's gonna be encouraging and nice in a way that their parents aren't always able to be.
Right.
And that's sometimes a little more important than the music, but the music is like the vehicle that happens through. Um, to kind of borrow a little bit from some music therapy training. I'm not a certified music therapist, but I have done some formal study in the subject. Um, but
Musical therapist. I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
yeah, it's a really interesting profession that's relatively new. It started up in the 50s.
Is that like, wait, I think I'm a musical therapist. That's like when you like give people recommendations for whatever they're going through. Huh?
That's yeah, I mean that can definitely be therapeutic.
Oh, okay. So that's not what it is.
Well, as a profession, there's actually a board certification. So you're actually like a medical professional.
What?
Yeah, it's super interesting. It actually started because it was noted that veterans were showing like improvements in health and mental health and stuff
Right.
with music being a part of their like healing regimen. So
Oh.
music therapy became a profession.
Oh, that's
However, I mean,
right.
music has been therapeutic for people obviously for much longer than that.
Right. That's right. You did tell me that you were in the military.
Yeah, yeah. Um yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep laughing to myself that because I asked you, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. What did you do?" And you're like, "Oh, I did IT," and you're like, "Well, I wasn't that good at it." And I, I don't know why, but that's just so funny to me.
Yeah. It was like that.
But the way you pause is like it makes me think that someone's like, "Hey, we need this up and running now." You're like, "All right, got you." 6 hours later, you're like, "I don't know how to fucking work this thing."
I definitely was in some situations like that before when I was in the army. It taught me a lot. I learned it helped me level up. It was there were periods of it that were a horrible experience.
Jesus Christ. I can actually relate to you for what I do for a living.
Really, really. Tell me more about that.
Okay. Okay, you're deflecting. But I pretty much work in film in the film industry as a grip and electric, which is basically people who just hang up lights and stuff like that.
So,
The-
sounds like it could be like a lot, like everybody's relying on you and you got to like pull it together.
Absolutely. I will.
Sometimes you don't have the resources that like people don't always give you the resources you need and you're like I got to make it work,
Okay,
right?
okay, you sound like you're venting right now. Yeah, you sound like you're venting. But on that note, Starfighters, if you want to watch this movie along with us, you can watch it somewhere. Check Hulu. No, you know what? This will be on HBO Max because I tried to skim through this a little bit to see what the production companies were, and it was WB. WB made
Mm.
distribute this film, so it's definitely going to be on HBO Max. So, with that said, we are going to start this movie in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I want to let you know right now, this is a safe place. I want you to vent. I want you to let out all that trauma you went through by fucking up whatever technology you were asked to fix in the military.
Oh, do you want me to do that right now?
Only if you want to. I feel
Mm.
like you have some pretty good stories. I also have some pretty good stories about my job. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit of Elvis trauma actually.
You have Elvis trauma.
This is a little bit juicy of a story. Um,
Well, you know what? I was actually thinking, I'm like, this movie's 2.5 hours. What the hell could they be talking about with Elvis? Because the only thing I know about him from growing up was he was super unhealthy.
real like his diet
This
or
man,
like psychologically, like
let me tell you, this man ate fried chicken, chocolate cake, ice cream, funnel cakes for breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, and midnight snack.
damn. As I mean, he died what of a heart attack, right? That's not.
I heard he died of a heart attack on the toilet.
That makes sense. I mean, that's lame, right? When people are like, "You should not eat that stuff." It's like I roll, but
It's for situations like that, so you won't be caught with your pants down.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and some of my more self-destructive periods of my life, I was like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? Am I allowed to say bad words?
Oh yeah. Well, wait. No, you fucking can't. You got to calm down with that.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to live a long time. I mean, that's a little bit of some depression kind of darkness. I don't want to live to be old, man. I don't. If I can't fucking eat chocolate cake every day, then I hope I die.
Someone put that on a t-shirt.
But I mean, on the other side of that, it's like maybe I do want to live a long time, so maybe I won't do that. We'll see though. Life has a lot of seasons. Sometimes you just eat as much chocolate cake as you need to survive.
To survive. I've like speaking of like how he died. Do you have a fear? Because I have the same fear. Do you have a fear of like dying in an embarrassing way?
Mm, I'm more afraid of dying in a painful way. That stresses me out more.
I feel like the embarrassing way would be far worse.
Really? Like, but you would be dead.
Well, you'll be dead
Like you
with the
wouldn't.
painful way too. Okay, you tell me what's a painful death? Uh,
Like I don't know, like dying in a fire or something.
I feel like yeah, that would be painful, but yeah, it'll be over pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess your experience of the actual dying that's taking, the half an hour or whatever dying process. You're feeling embarrassed or feeling pain. Um, that experience of dying. I mean, it's emotional pain or physical pain. I guess I'm a little more afraid of physical pain.
Right. I have a big fear of like dying and of like a gang of dolphins just massacre me.
Like, do you spend a lot of time in the water?
No, not at all.
Is it one of those like phobias?
Uh, I don't like to swim, but I wouldn't consider it a phobia. I just don't
Mhm.
want to. How can I say this? I just don't want to. I don't know. I just don't want to be embarrassed when I die.
Gotcha.
What's a? I'm
Gotcha.
trying to think of like a really good example. Maybe like
Like an undignified way to die.
here's a good example. I feel like this is embarrassing. There's a TV show back in the day called Dead Like Me, and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
character literally was walking outside, and from a satellite in space exploded, and the
Mhm.
debris fell on Earth, and she literally died from a toilet
Mhm.
crashing
Mhm.
into her. I feel like that's an embarrassing way,
But could also be kind of funny, right? Like
but that's no. It's funny to people who hear about it.
you don't want to when you die for it to be funny.
No, not at all. Because that's how people are gonna remember. That's what they remember.
So it's really a question of legacy, like the legacy that you want to leave behind.
Hopefully, I leave behind a good legacy. But depending on how you go out, that's just like the cherry on top. People will see that first before everything else.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you are going to poop your pants when you die either way,
That's not.
so
No, I
it's
will
always
not.
going to be a little bit.
No, I will not.
You're going to make sure you go first.
No, I promise you, I will not. Is that Tom Hanks?
It looks like it.
I was thinking last night. I was like, you know what? Everyone loves Tom Hanks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but can people actually name like a their favorite Tom Hanks movie, like a great Tom Hanks movie? I feel like he does like really good movies, but they're not. Or I don't know. Like I like Tom Hanks, but he's
Mm-hmm.
never like my go to in terms of like favorite actors of all time. Nor
Yeah, well,
nor his
he's a little bit
movies.
older now, and that's like I don't know who is your like favorite.
My favorite actor of all time is Elliot Page. Easy.
Oh yeah,
Easy. Yeah. I
like
grew up.
what movie?
Tracy Fragments, Mouth to Mouth, An American Crime. Uh, Basically everything he did from back in the day. Because I grew up with all
I
that stuff.
God, I don't know a lot of those movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I guess we've established I'm more of a TV show person.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, part of why I don't is because I talk over movies constantly, and then I don't know what's going on, which is, I mean, it's perfect for doing a podcast like this.
I feel okay. I feel like nothing has happened yet for us to really be confused about. I
I'm
feel I
this like cinematography is making me confused. I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah, it seems like it's all over the place. But from what I'm gauging thus far, I think Tom Hanks is like this entertainment manager or whatever. And I
Mm,
think he heard Elvis on the radio and he was like, "Who is that talent? I want to meet this kid."
gotcha, gotcha. What do you think of Tom Hanks playing this fat fella?
Um, I don't know. I
Like,
honestly don't.
couldn't they have hired a fat guy to
Oh,
have some
okay.
more representation?
That is a whole conversation we can have.
Hmm.
I absolutely hate Hollywood
Hmm.
when they do shit like that.
Yeah, it does. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, casting is always such a thing. I feel a little miffed sometimes when I don't know the opportunity for a less well known or successful person is it's handed to a sure thing that'll get people to come out. And I mean that's important. You got to find that balance, but it's also kind of a
Yeah.
waste. I mean Hollywood's like a particular it's a particular scene though. It's like a club. It's particular people.
Oh my god, you have no idea. Like literally working in the industry is high school. It's
Mhm.
high school
Mhm.
all over again.
Yeah, I bet it is. Tell me more about that.
What the hell is going on? it just it completely turned into a Marvel film. What?
Oh no.
Oh no! How will we overcome this? Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. This is a weird ass movie.
It's I mean it's very extra and very flashy, but I mean that's kind of what Elvis is, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Is this a clubhouse? Just some people hanging out and chilling?
This is your home, if anything, from what you told me. Just a bunch of people together.
I mean, that makes sense. I wouldn't say it's as sensual in my house, but
I really do feel like somebody could take this movie and just recut it and make this into a horror.
it's got Yeah, the energy is very confusing.
Hmm. Yeah, what a weird movie. So what I do on set, being a grip and electric, so on the electric side of things, I pretty much just make sure everything has power. Um, in the grand scheme of things, and also like set up hard lights on
Mm,
actors and all that good
hmm.
stuff.
Gotcha. How is that?
Um, it's very bright.
Do you get to witness some good drama on the set?
Depends. I remember, so there's kind of like a rule, depending on the set, like you can't look at actors. Uh, especially if it's like a real serious scene,
Mm-hmm.
drama scene. I think for one of when I first started in the industry, or when I first got into union, there was like a really serious scene where the actors is supposed to cry and whatever, and I was totally oblivious to it. And clearly they weren't rolling, but you know she was trying to get into character, right? She's like talking
Mm-hmm.
to herself, all this stuff, and she looks at me, and I'm just laughing, like laughing to myself because I thought of something funny.
You were just in another world.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and
And it made her upset.
it completely threw her off.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but oh my god, yeah, there's so much PTSD that I have that came with the industry.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
And maybe a little bit stratified, like a hierarchy that's pretty stratified in certain ways.
Oh yeah, people, the egos are absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds actually similar to the military. I think there's actually a lot of parallels between the entertainment industry and the military. Um,
So you're telling me it's not like Call of Duty?
not for most IT people.
Okay. I guess I have to take your word for it.
I think the similarities are like you're not working like a 9 to 5. Um, like it's mission based. It's like when the job gets done is when you get to go home.
Look at that kid, how he's reacting.
Hmm.
You think that's how? I guess that's what you hope people react like when they listen to your single, right?
Yeah, I want them to jizz their pants.
Which, by the way, we could talk about that as well because you're an
Oh yeah,
artist.
sure.
Yeah, we'll totally plug up all your shit.
Oh yeah, I'll happily talk over this whole movie. I mean, yeah, I feel like the entertainment industry is kind of similar to the military. Everybody is a creative, right? But the person who gets to be creative is the director.
This is gonna blow your mind, but for most projects, the director doesn't even do anything.
Hmm. Who is actually calling the shots?
Um, Producers,
Hmm.
investors. The director
Yeah,
just talks to the actors.
yeah. But for everybody to work together, everybody can't be like expressing themselves all the time. It's like
Well,
very clearly delineated who gets to like make those decisions.
they can. They People can do that, but they'll do it to a
Mhm.
certain person, and they call them the first AD, and it's the title is first assistant director, and they pretty much kind
Mm.
of make sure everything runs smoothly. They tell you what's gonna happen, when's it gonna happen, make sure
Mhm.
everyone's on schedule.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa, what? There's no way.
Wiggly that piggly.
There's no way. This was doing it for women back then?
People were very repressed, right?
That's true.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Everybody says it was very scandalous, but it's like, was it though?
This is ridiculous.
I like the shots of the men being like, "Okay, man, whatever."
Yeah, I mean, listen, I wouldn't hate if a guy is like, if he looks like Chris Evans, and if I see like a bunch of women going crazy, I'm not gonna hate. I'm like, yeah, all right, I get it, I get it. Elvis though,
He's got such a big goofy face.
he looks
That
like
was always
he looks like any dude that's out there in the crowd.
yeah.
What? What is this movie?
Tom Hanks being in anything gives it that like folklore element.
This is insane.
Was it really like that?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
What were we talking about? We were talking about what it's like on a movie set.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you have like a hierarchy. Everybody is kind of in charge of their corner, yeah. And then
Yeah, depending on what department you work in, there's like makeup department, lighting department, which is like grip, and then electric, which are two separate things. You have camera department, wardrobe department, greens department, which is basically like they handle grass and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so every department has like a department head, the person in charge of that department. And all those people who work in that department defer to them. And then all the department heads defer to like the first AD for questions and things like that.
And then everybody's serving the higher mission, which is the movie
Right.
that you're trying to make. It's kind of like the military. And then you work probably hard as shit.
Oh yeah, electrics and grips. We lift like, they say on an average day we lift like at least 1,000 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, it destroys your body. It's not really something that's really good to do long term. But I've been pretty good at it. I'm pretty healthy, but
yeah. Some hard ass labor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my freaking god, dude! I worked on The Walking Dead.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's freaking. It's just manual labor. A lot of people don't work on that show because they just treat you like cattle.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sorry that it's like that.
Oh no, it's fine.
That's sweet. You worked on that though. What was that like?
Well, I felt like cattle.
Besides hard work, like, like what were the perks?
I don't even think there are any. Well, it's such a high budget show that the pay is amazing.
That's awesome.
And a show like that always goes to overtime, always. So you can easily make, depending on what department you're in, you can easily make 500 plus a night.
Oh man, that's awesome. You're unionized, so you get paid overtime and stuff.
Yeah, we get paid overtime. There's first there's time and a half, and then it's
Hmm.
overtime, and then there's meal penalties if in case you get late to lunch or whatever.
Nice. That's awesome. That's dope. I wish the military had that. Haha. The military would never have that.
Well, wait, I should send you this really funny tweet. It's so bad, but it's so funny. It was about like some woman was like trying to demonstrate how to do like a certain chokehold or something, and she like mounted this guy, right, and it kind of looked sexual. She's
Hmm.
like, all right, so then you got to do this, and then it just cut to this random boy trying to sign up for the military.
Yeah, we did combatives in training. Um, Pretty fun. Kind of boring.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we talked about this. You can kill a man in 7 ways.
Yeah. Well, I only remember like 3 ways. Most of them involve blood chokes, though. But yeah, so I mean, the military's combatives is like jujitsu and Krav Maga. It's like a combination of some different stuff, but they teach you the mat
Mm.
stuff because the reasoning is most fights end up on the mat. You end up scrappling on the ground anyway, and it's a little more equal between men and women and people of different sizes if you're
Mm-hmm.
like grappling versus striking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's more like the technique of evading somebody trying to get you in a certain position, or you're trying to get them into a certain position so you can choke them. Um, you do still got to be strong enough to like keep them. Like, I'm not a very large person, so if I'm trying to grapple with this like 6'4" dude, I mean, I gotta be way stronger than I am right now. I guess I'll just say that.
My money's on
If I'm gonna
her.
like I mean, some ladies, they're like very technically proficient, and they can. It's a lot more of an equal situation for them.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me more about this IT thing.
Hmm. Well, let's see.
Tell me why you left if you don't if you want to talk about it. Like
Yeah,
what was the mission that you're like I'm out of here.
there were a lot of honestly, there were a lot of reasons. From very early, I knew that I was not well suited to it. Um, but I had my personal reasons for joining, involving like
Wait.
there was
Wait, when you said you're not very well suited for it and you knew right away, I completely had a daydream that you're like you signed the contract, I want to be in the military. And the moment you got there and they said you have to press these buttons, you're like, how can I get out of this?
I guess it's just really boring.
mm.
Um, I yeah, it's boring. The equipment sucks. This is nothing the enemy doesn't know. I mean, I'm hesitant to say certain things, but the enemy knows our equipment is shit. Um,
Can you like what is he can't possibly be thinking about his mama while trying to do this.
he's got that religious trauma. Or is his mama imagining that this is what's happening that he's doing?
It could, for all I know, this could be a new Star Wars movie for how this movie is like cut and directed.
Serious? It's like that's more campy than Star Wars. And that's saying a lot.
This is a prequel of the prequel.
Mm.
This is okay. So I came into this movie knowing that it was going to be like a biopic,
Hmm.
I thought they were gonna show a little bit more about his upbringing,
Yeah.
more about like him and his craft, why he was so special as a musician. If you ask me, all he's doing is twitching his leg.
Hmm. Well, I mean, the kind of common criticism for Elvis is that he just stole black people music, and
Okay,
then he was able to be successful because he was white.
okay, let's talk about this. So that's another reason why I've never really been into Elvis, along with any other white musician from the 40s and the 50s, because
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
saying them personally, but a lot of the record labels that they were signed to definitely stole lyrics and music from minority artists.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. Um, it's a shame because a lot of those artists don't. They're not as famous. They don't get the same recognition. Um, one of the greats is Sister Loretta Tharpe. Um, she's what, the godmother of blues or the mother of blues?
Mm-hmm.
But
Interesting.
yeah, there's a lot of people that deserve more recognition than they get. But I mean, Elvis was able to be who he was because he was a white guy.
That is a fact. I never been in one of these before.
One of those fun houses like that.
Yeah. I feel like that would be, how the hell would I get out?
That's the whole thing.
That is not a place you want to go if anyone's claustrophobic.
It's not a place you want to go when you're tripping. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, tripping, drunk.
Or maybe you do.
Yeah.
People will do all kinds of things tripping that I would never do.
Who is this? You can easily say this is a Star Wars film. Elvis is Anakin, and Tom Hanks is Palpatine.
Mmm.
I don't know how into Star Wars you are. If I'm throwing these references out there, if you can grasp them.
I watched Obi-Wan recently.
I heard that wasn't. I heard it started off really good, and it was just like, ugh.
Do you want me to ruin it for you?
Go for it. Yeah, because I don't watch any after Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like such a diehard Star Wars fan. After Rise of Skywalker, I was just like, I can't anymore. I just can't. It's breaking my heart.
It is pretty good. I mean, it's, it's campy, which Star Wars is, but the thing that really frustrated me about the way that it was written was that Obi-Wan has another chance to kill Vader and he doesn't. And then it's like, was that supposed to be some kind of statement about like virtue, or is that him being weak?
I think it's just him saying that, well, this is a prequel, so got to move the plot forward.
I think the better writing would have been for some reason their fight got interrupted and he escaped or something. But I'm like, bro, you let this guy go and then he dang destroys Leia's homeworld like 10 years later. Like,
That's true. Ooh, that's true.
I was
Those
like, you're
billions of
responsible.
death.
Exactly.
Those billions of deaths are all on Obi-Wan's head.
Like, some bad guys just need to get executed. And I don't mean like I mean things that you should not do to prisoners of war, but you got to do to the bad guy. Like, if somebody is incapacitated after you shoot them or whatever, or they surrender, you are not supposed to kill them. That's considered execution. You don't do that. That's war crimes. But these like high level bad guys, like, you just gotta kill them because they're too powerful and they escape and then they go right back and do the same shit again. Regular henchmen or soldiers or whatever, like, they don't really care. They're probably just trying to feed their family. If you let them go, they're like, I'm gonna get as far away from this as possible. I don't want to die.
You
But
saying
like,
that makes me feel like I've been playing every single action game wrong. I've just
have you ever
been
played?
I've
Have
just
you ever
been
played
mowing down
Uncharted?
people. Oh my god. I played the first one and I've killed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you kill these henchmen, but then when you get to the final boss, you're like, okay, I'll give him mercy. Dude, he just like
No.
threw 1,000 henchmen at you, and you didn't give any of them mercy. So
Yeah,
kill his
that is
ass.
pretty
He's a
funny.
bad guy.
Yeah, that's really funny how video games can do that. What is
um,
up with his mom? She looks like she hasn't gotten any sleep since she was born.
it's a really interesting thing. Um, I watched a TikTok recently where a lady was like, I can't believe how old ladies in their 40s used to look. Like, I'm in my 40s.
You're in
And
your
the
40s?
no, this is with a TikTok.
Oh.
She's like, I'm in my 40s. I cannot believe how old these ladies used to look, but I wonder if it's the makeup. And so she did her hair and makeup like a lady from this time period, and she looked like 20 years older. So that's definitely part of it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, maybe. A lot of their makeup was like in the beginning stage.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, or maybe it's just our associations because the people that have that kind of style usually are like old ladies.
Well,
I don't know.
also a lot of the beauty secrets didn't they weren't invented or
Mm-hmm.
discovered by then.
People didn't drink water in the old days.
That's
Like,
true. That's very true. No, you know what it is? It's the cigarettes. That's exactly what it was.
that's definitely part of it, yeah. Also, the air was full of lead from gasoline.
That is very true. And then that's pretty much when like the microwave was first invented too. So they were just washing that thing, cook the food.
Every meal was like mashed potatoes and green beans. What was that transition?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were just eating like nuked meatloaf.
Finally, some Elvis music. Do you do this when you record your music?
The like leg thing that he just did with his knees.
Or like, okay, how about give me how do you get into the zone?
Mm.
Tell me what your process is for writing music, performing music, and yeah, all that.
Let me think. I get really good at writing if I've got something keeping me semi-occupied, which kind of lets my brain relax a little bit. Like if I'm like washing dishes or driving. If it's something I don't have to think about a lot and I don't have to try really hard, then
Wait, something you don't have to really think about?
yeah, like some kind of like busy work kind of activity, keeping my hands busy, then I start kind of piecing words together. Written some songs that way.
I've never heard of that before. Give me an example. Like what's like for example, your single that you have, Radio.
Mm.
When I was listening to that on Spotify and it had like the little lyrics. So I was like trying to like really follow the lyrics as you were speaking on. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what does this mean? Because it's like at least for me when I listened to it, it was so kind of like vague in a sense. I'm like, I wonder what experience she's talking about.
Let me see. There's a lot of different angles for that one.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing with a lot of songs.
But what was the process for that song?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wrote that song like 10 years ago, and I don't even remember. I don't. I think I was. I think I might have written that one at the piano because it is like it's a very piano-y song. I was kind of channeling Carole King
Okay.
a little bit, trying to do like a folky piano lady kind of vibe.
Nice.
Let me see, what even is that song like? I'm trying to remember some of the words.
Wait, you don't eat. Wait, hold on.
I'm just kidding.
You're
I'm
Elvis right now. You're Elvis right now.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit distracted by the movie. I'm just thinking. Well, I was thinking about how the kind of the joke of, if you watch TV, there's like little people in the TV, or like if you listen to the radio, then maybe there's a little person in the radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I've
I
heard
was
that
like, well,
expression. Yeah.
It's like an experience of listening to music and kind of relating to it, and then pondering your own life in relation to the song you're listening to. Like, there's a little man inside the radio, so that's somebody singing a song, somebody singing a song about love, and then you reflect on your own love life and your thoughts about it, and realizations about where your own life is at. You're driving somewhere. So it's like, in literal terms,
You're seeing that, right? You saw that?
No, what happened?
With the guy, like, he's like doing his like hip thrust as if he was like humping on stage, and all the girls are like, "Yeah," and then the guy who was watching it too, the teenage boy, he was like, "Yeah."
Oh, the kid by the coffee table.
Yeah, I think he's having his sexual awakening.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Wow.
Elvis the pelvis.
That is the best nickname ever.
Enos the penis. Yeah. Yeah, it's white supremacy's big part of this.
But where did this come from?
Well, you mean just the way that people are reacting to him?
No, I mean like just the movie just showing it like out of nowhere. I can tell you right now, this movie does not need to be 2.5 hours.
I'm digging the boardroom where all the old white dudes are hanging out smoking cigars.
Oh, that's the Illuminati. You didn't know?
That's a classic, yeah.
So, are you like currently working on an album right now? I feel like you have some fire just waiting to be unleashed.
I am, yeah. Well, I the thing is, I have all these songs that I wrote before I joined the army,
Okay.
and so I'm putting them out slowly, trying to build up some momentum to possibly put together a tour or something. But I'm in the stage of trying to build the consistent act, with my band. Get us good and rehearsed, and the professional look, so that I can go to venues and be like, book us. You can depend on us to entertain everybody consistently well. You know.
You can depend. You can depend on us to sing.
Exactly. Well, that's really they want people to show up, and they don't want anybody flaky, which is that's the challenge. I mean, that is like just such a big part of any industry, is just avoiding flaky people, and especially in non-institutional kind of jobs where there's like not the same barriers to entry. Like, you don't have to get hired by somebody. They're like looking for that credibility in various ways. So they don't have anybody book canceling last minute because they couldn't pull it together or whatever.
Right. Well, I can tell you right now, in the film industry, it is a cardinal sin to flake out.
Yeah, it's definitely not cool among musicians as well. But I mean, every industry is like a pyramid shape, right? You
Mm.
have way more people at the beginning part of the industry than at the top. Not necessarily because it's a hierarchy, but just because way more people are going to try something at the beginning, and then they're going to determine it's not right for them, or it's just not feasible for whatever reason, or they want to do other things.
Mm.
And that is where a lot of people are going to be flaky at that entry level. So part of it's just sticking around long enough to be a little bit established, and then you start to get more opportunities. But
Yeah.
I don't
Sounds
know a lot about it.
Sounds like stand up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's like very few barriers to just saying that you're a musician. And I mean, to be fair, everybody is. I kind of believe that as a music instructor, and in the future, I'll potentially be a music therapist. I think that we are, but as a profession, it's a different thing.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that I can be a part of that profession, at least as long as it's fun. And
His mom is the antagonist. She has to be.
there's a very weird dynamic between them.
She's gonna spank him.
There's a little bit of some sexual tension. Is that guy's not his dad? Yeah,
In the background, yeah.
he's not his dad.
I think he is.
I thought it was just him and his mom.
Oh wait, maybe. I don't know.
He's probably like a husband stand-in for his mom. Like he's the oldest kid, yeah.
He's, you know who he is? He's the uncle, but he's really the dad. They just call him uncle.
But Elvis, as the oldest son, is kind of in the proxy role of husband for his mom. Like it's a very loaded dynamic. It's not a healthy dynamic. No, new Elvis? What does that mean? Oh, they were saying, don't you stop being a sexy boy.
Right.
Club Handy? Did I not notice that before?
What is going on?
How do you feel about like historic films having music that's not in the time period?
If it rocks, I'm all for it. It just really depends what it is. Like I wish, looking back, I wish what's a good historic film? Name a historic movie.
Lord of the Rings. Just kidding.
I wish some Kendrick Lamar would play out in some Lord of the Rings.
When they're like killing some orcs.
I wish. Oh my god! I wish some Lady Gaga would play out. That's like honestly one of my favorite things to do is just to watch movies in silence, especially movies I've already seen, and just play music during it and
Really?
make my own soundtrack.
That makes sense. It's kind of like a music video.
I mean, if you look through my phone, I have so many playlists, like just created playlists for every situation and every movie.
What's the most unusual choice you think?
Choice? You mean like for music?
Yeah, like what do you have in your personal library then?
Oh,
that you would pair the most unusual pairing for music that's your creation.
Most unusual pairing. Maybe you know what? Oh, you know what? No. That would totally fit this movie. I was going to say that Japanese band that was like on Kill Bill. You know what I'm talking about? The
kind of.
do, 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 do. I would say I listen to a lot of theme songs, so I would maybe put like a Power Rangers theme song over this movie, knowing damn well it doesn't work. Or
You don't
maybe
think it
some
could work?
Avril Lavigne over this, like this scene right here, just a bunch of black people in the 50s. Play some
That would be pretty funny.
play some Skater Boy, absolutely. Is that supposed to be who is that?
Lil Richie, I think.
Oh yeah, Little Richie. I should have guessed.
Right? That's who does Tutti Frutti?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can we just get a biopic of him instead? Still do not know what the hell I am watching. Wow. So what's the dream, or what's the goal with music, or I guess the dream, dream goal, whatever comes first. Like
Man.
what's the, I guess, current goal, like to finish the album, maybe to actually go on tour, to
Yeah. Well, short-term goals are releasing another single in about a month. So that's going to be a process of promotion, social media, micro content, stuff like that. And then other short-term goals are like, I guess a little bit medium term is like putting together a tour. Actually starting to make some nice money gigs would be nice. Make it worth it, not just for me, but for my band to do some traveling and stuff.
absolutely, yeah. That'll come in time though, as long as if you and your band keep it up. Because I'm sure it's very similar to, like, in the film industry when I first started. Literally, the first entire year, I did not get paid.
Man, like, what was it like to actually transition into being like, oh, this is like my legit job now? Like,
Well, I would say much like the music industry, the film industry, they say, is like the hardest industry to get into, because it's, I would say, within that first like half year or full year, a lot of people just stop because of the money flow. Because most of the stuff you have to do for free in order to get experience and stuff like that. Because
yeah,
unfortunately, a lot of people can't bring you on for, like, especially if you don't know anything, and they're like, you're a liability. So
gotcha. You're a liability.
depends on the set I'm on.
Yeah, I get that. It's a lot of responsibility.
Here comes the PTSD. Yeah, I have.
Do you want to talk about it, or
I don't
it's
know.
okay if you don't?
I'm trying to think of like certain shows, Oh my god. Yeah, there's some bad ones. Well, what was a really bad one? I remember. You ever heard of a band called 21 Pilots?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
So was it 21 Pilots? No. No. There's a band called Bastille. You ever heard of them?
No, I haven't not heard of them.
Okay. You have never not heard of them?
I have not heard of them.
Okay. I remember we did a music video for them, and it was like way back. I want to say 2016. Maybe it was 2017. But I remember we did a music video. We were in this like weird old ass warehouse that we found, and we were like rigging lights, heavy ass lights on the top of the ceiling, huge ladder. Like, oh, and that's another thing. You can't be afraid of heights. if you
Yeah,
want to
gotcha.
do grips or electrics.
Okay, that sounds terrifying.
There's no freaking way. There's literally, especially in the union, there's you can easily get work if you're certified to use a what is it
Does this guy
called?
look like a dang Fallout Boy guy right now? Just sorry, I'm
The driver?
the dang Elvis right now with the shirt and the eyeliner. I'm sorry, I'm still listening.
He definitely looks like he survived a fallout.
He looks like a dang Pete Wentz right now. Anyway, go on. So there's a
I
yeah.
love Pete. Oh my. Okay, we're gonna talk about Fall Out Boy a little bit later, but yeah, a condor. That's what it's called. Condors are kind of like they use it in construction. It's basically like a huge, heavy 1-ton forklift that lifts you up high in the sky that you can put lights on. You shine lights high up, down. It's kind of like how people do. It's how we do like street lights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the lights that you see behind Elvis right now. Or
Oh shoot!
yeah,
So you were setting stuff up like that.
yeah. So it's like this whole entire crowd that you see.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where it is, and if it's like close ups like this or whatever, you would definitely
Mm-hmm.
have like a condor out there or whatever. Well, maybe not this
Gotcha.
because it looks like a stadium, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they'll easily say like, "Hey, you have to suit up. You have to go on the condor tonight,"
Gotcha.
and you're easily going to be up 75 feet in the sky.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and you have like a harness and all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
some nights, depending if it's like the winter, you'll be up there all night until they call lunch. And it'll be windy, it'll be cold. You'll pack a blanket, some lunch, and you'll be up there for like 6 hours or so.
Oh gosh.
Depending if you have to use the restroom, then you'll just come
Mm-hmm.
down when they cut or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll be up there the whole night, whole
Why
14,
do you
15
need Why do you
hours.
need to be up there? You moving stuff around that whole time?
Well, it really, so it's kind of like, so if you have a light that is up there and whatnot, you can drive the entire condor from up there or from the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're all the way up there, depending on what the scene is and what it calls for, you can easily rotate the light to hit anywhere from the
Gotcha.
sky.
Mm.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even lights that are up there. It can be huge frames that are used to kind of diffuse light or to
Oh,
block
okay.
light.
So you're up there. You're moving stuff. You're rotating stuff the whole time. 75 feet in the air for like 6 hours.
Not even the whole time. You do it once and then that's it. And you just stay up there until they call for it.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, so you're chilling most of the time.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of there was an Apple TV series that I did a few months ago. That was we literally went to this town that it's such a ghost town. There's like nothing there. And the production team created an entire carnival from scratch.
Oh my god.
Like it looks super impressive, right? And one of the guys that I worked with was on the condor that day. So he was like 80 feet in the sky and he took a picture of like everything. I'll send it to
Damn.
your Instagram now.
That's awesome. So that's the kind of stuff that you were doing. So you can't be messing up. You can't
I don't
be like
often go on the
dropping
condor.
stuff.
Oh, okay. Don't even. Okay, so that's where I was getting at with the Bastille story. We hung this huge light on the ceiling, and it was like such a rusty ceiling, this and that and whatever, rusty old ass lights. And even the equipment we used to rig it was super old and whatnot. But the key thing is you safety chain everything, so if anything does fall, it catches itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you don't kill anybody, which is like, you know, obviously the worst shit that could ever happen.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I remember they were like rolling or whatever. Actors are there, all that stuff, and all of a sudden the light just completely just fell off,
Oh my god.
and then the safety chain just caught it.
Mm-hmm. It's still scary though.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. That's like PTSD. What's
Mm-hmm.
another thing? I think my first ever union show. I was fucking up pretty bad. The key grip, who's like the department head of the grips, was like
Mm-hmm.
really, really like pushing me, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
see what I was made out of.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Like
was
pushing
just
you in time, or like pushing to see what
like
what.
pushing me, like just like pushing my buttons to see how much I can take, which a lot of in almost any department, that's what they kind of do to like the newer
Mm-hmm.
person to see if
Mm-hmm.
what they're made out of, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So kind of like hazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ugh. It was so bad.
Mm.
So bad.
That
Ugh.
sounds rough.
I'm trying to give you like a really good example because I'm looking through like my set photos now. I remember. Hmm. What's a good one?
Is he in trouble for being a sexy boy? Is that what's happening right now?
This movie's all over the fucking place. Oh,
Whoa.
okay. This is the worst PTSD I have. Well, it's not like okay. I often think about this. Okay, so there was a Tyler Perry show that I did,
Mm.
and the woman that I was dating at the time, we were like arguing like the night before or whatever. Literally got no sleep whatsoever. Showed up
Mm.
like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Tried to do the show or whatever. All of a sudden, like I'm doing my best to stay awake, but I fall asleep. And then literally I wake up when I heard my name being called and I just get back to
Mm-hmm.
work that day or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
literally, because once the day was over, um, the next day I had to like the day off or whatever, and I was supposed to come back another day. And then I think the best boy, who's like the second in charge of the department, called me and told me to like not come back and stuff like that because I've been released to the show because somebody from some other department took a picture of me sleeping. And
Mm.
they made like a bunch of copies and they like literally hanged it up everywhere for everyone to see. And
That's that
right,
seems like not necessary to
right,
communicate a
okay.
concern, right?
I've been thinking about this every single day of my life, right? I was like, that's so not necessary. But again, I shouldn't have been sleeping, right? But
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, there's other ways to bring up concerns
right,
besides like public embarrassment,
right.
public shaming
And
somebody.
yeah, I pretty much just made our department just look bad, and I would just could
Mm.
not be hired again working for that crew.
Damn, I'm sorry. That's really rough. It's like very, very unforgiving.
Right, but I learned also a buddy of mine gave me a really good advice that it's everyone should hear. He says, "Hey, it's okay if you fuck up on a shoot or you fuck up with a crew or whatever. Just go work on another show where no one knows you."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing. They're like, "Who is
That
this
makes
kid?"
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that incident. There was what was another thing? Oh, there's a TV show called American Soul where I was just completely like I looked like a chicken with his head cut off.
Mm.
Like I did not know what I was doing. I was running all over the place. It took me forever to find something and bring it back to everyone because I was taking a long
Hmm.
way and I did not know the shortcuts or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah. Every time you go and get something, they're like, "Why is he been gone for like 20 minutes?"
oh my god. So, yeah, yeah, it's just bad.
I totally get it. Yeah, it can be tough. I mean, it seems like people are pretty unforgiving. Um, I can definitely relate to that. There's aspects of the military that are very much that way. It's a lot of like image management kind of stuff. Um, sounds like a lot of waiting. Also, a lot of waiting, but you're not allowed to sleep.
Yeah,
Also,
that's a
same as the army.
yeah, that's a phrase. That's a phrase we say in the industry. Hurry up and wait.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I sent you the picture on your Instagram. It's such a
Nice.
that was a stressful night
Oh
too.
man, above the dang Ferris wheel.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel didn't work.
That is tall as hell. That is really dang up there. That's cool though. It's like basically like a drone picture.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. Sounds intense.
It can be. It definitely can be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not actually so different from the military. It's really interesting.
What the hell is he doing? Did his mom die?
I think she must have, right?
Is that you eating popcorn? I know you're messing with your mic, but I'm like, maybe she's eating popcorn very loudly.
No, I'm actually just sitting here now. I think I like snapped my bra or something just a second ago.
I'm like, oh, don't mind me.
Yeah. Just gotta make some adjustments periodically.
It'd be really wild if it's just as quiet, just hear nothing but Elvis, and all of a sudden you just hear something unbuckle. Like, what was that?
I feel more sympathetic toward this young man watching this movie. I don't know if I think this was the right casting choice, but
I
his
missed
head's
something.
just not his head's not wide enough. He's got to have the widest head you've ever seen
That's
to
true.
look like Elvis.
I missed something. Did his mom die?
Yeah, I think she must have, right?
I was too busy looking at my phone, thinking of every single memory, looking at these set pictures.
Honestly, I try to avoid looking at a lot of pictures that remind me of army shit. Because I'm like, I don't want to remember that. I do have some good memories, but it's a complicated relationship.
Every time I think about like just military and just a military life, I like to think about that Pauly Shore movie, In the Army Now. I'm like, because if I was to ever join, I'd be like, I definitely want to be like the water boy. I got to do that. I'm also not giving this movie. I'm not giving it a fair chance. There's a lot going on that I know I can probably pay more attention to, but also the budget of this movie should have been 50 million, 100 million less than what it is.
Yes.
You do not need all this shit to tell a fucking Elvis Presley story.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I don't usually watch biopics.
But there's some good biopics out there. This is just so extra. Natalie Wood. Is that actress?
Is it?
I think, yeah. That's that actress that went missing, and then they turned out she drowned.
Oh my god.
You never heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Christopher Walken was there on that. It was Natalie Wood, her husband, and Christopher Walken on like some type of boat ride, and they were doing something on the boat, and then they turned around and she was just gone.
Shit.
They were trying to search for her, and then they eventually, I think, like probably days later, they found her, like in the
That's
water.
fucked up. If you're famous, that shouldn't be able to happen to you, right? You should just have plot armor. Like, that can't happen to me. I'm a famous person.
I like to think if I'm famous and I die, I transcend into a god.
Is that how? Is that how you Do you want to be a god? What do you think that's actually like? Do you think there's like responsibilities?
There is no responsibilities whatsoever.
Really?
Just to party hard.
To party hard?
If I've
Yeah,
seen
you-
anything from Greek mythology, you can do whatever the hell you want.
And it's divine because you did it and you're God. It's basically like the Chad meme.
The Chad meme?
Yeah, you remember those memes? It's not really a popular meme now, but it's Chad. He's got little green shorts on and a shirt that says like Wham or something, and it's a really shitty drawing that somebody did on like Microsoft Paint, and he's got like a blonde mohawk, and basically it's just this shitty drawing of this guy Chad
I'm
doing
looking at it now.
dumb shit, and then it's framed as being the most amazing thing to ever happen. What Chad meme are you looking at right now?
It says Chad the rationalist. Recognizes that Islam is terrible.
Let's see. I like the ones where where Chad is like,
This is
it's
weird.
like Chad shitting in the bathroom or something, and it's like stands up to shit. Always chooses the stall next to you. You know, like a lot of stuff that's terrible, but because Chad is doing it, it's amazing.
Right. Okay, I get it. That's weird.
Chad meme. Let me look at his bathroom.
That's weird. That's a weird meme.
The Chad middle urinal. The virgin corner urinal. The Chad middle urinal. Adventurously christens least used toilets.
This movie is so unrealistic. Where is his eating habits? He was fat. Elvis was fat.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
He only looked good and like skinny and all that because of well, honestly, just because he was young. When he like after he hit 26, his body was deflating. Yeah, what a weird. This shit was not necessary. Yeah, this is not necessary. It's whatever, though. So I want to talk about your voice.
My voice?
Yeah, because I've been thinking about this. I think your voice is so awesome because I don't even know how to describe it. Because first off, like your music, obviously you sound great. You sound like you should be singing for a living, right? But then like
Well,
just
thank you.
yeah, right. But during like just conversations like this, you sound like completely different. You sound like you have another great conversational voice, like such a great casual conversation voice.
Like a comedian voice?
No. I wouldn't say like a comedian voice. Like someone like I feel like you have like the perfect voice for a cartoon character that is just a background character. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like let's say like if I'm the main character and I'm like walking to school, like I'm Arthur, right? And and then you're just like, "Oh, hey Karlan, how's it going? Oh, hey, how's it going?" And then I don't see you until like next season.
Well, what if I was actually your bully as you were walking home from school?
You don't have the voice of a bully.
Oh, damn it.
You don't.
I guess the army couldn't even teach me how to be a good bully, right?
No, you have the voice of someone who's just there to move the plot forward.
Well, maybe I could be that person in life, you know? At least it's better to be that person than somebody that doesn't do that, right?
There you go. Yeah. Aim high.
No, I think being a character actor would be fucking lit. I would love to be like a voice actor. That would be super fun. Be one of those like Adventure Time, like random candy people or something.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I find my speaking voice kind of cringy when I hear it back.
Okay,
I have,
you know why? I can tell you why.
why is that?
Because you probably don't listen to it often enough.
I don't really. I also have a strange way of pronouncing things too. I don't really know what's going on with that, but
You know what? Throughout my entire life, teachers have always told me I should do something with my voice. Like I should go into broadcasting or like whatever. They're like, you have such a good voice. And I'm like, shut up. But then now I'm like,
shut up, hag.
yeah, you old timer. What do you know?
Shut up, you old bat.
Now that I'm doing like these movie reviews and YouTube channel, podcasts, all this stuff, and I'm like listening to my voice and like putting like different beats over it and stuff like that, I'm like my own biggest fan of my voice.
Really?
Yeah. And it's because I've listened to it a lot and I listen to other people's voices to try to see like, okay, how can I be different or how can I, stand out or whatever. And
So you have a main character voice, and I have a side character voice.
I wouldn't say it's a main character voice. I would say my voice really fits. I've been told my voice is very soothing and calm.
I can see that. You have some nice resonance in your voice.
Yeah, soothing, calm, and deep.
Yeah, I can see it. You could put out some meditation tracks potentially.
Well, you know what? It wouldn't even have to be meditation tracks because I feel like I do that with just like my freaking movie reviews, especially depending on the tone of the movie. I'll tag you in one of them one day.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? Oh wait, I don't know if you watched it though. I did send you one of them on like on a message on IG that I'm like, I think that was the best my voice has ever sound.
Gotcha.
I'll probably just retag you in it because I'm almost afraid to release it because I'm like, this is like my peak. Everyone.
Because people will they're gonna go crazy like these girls going crazy for Elvis.
Exactly.
Like, people are gonna lose it. They're gonna be like creaming their pants.
I've gotten like messages from people.
You might get arrested.
People are like, dude, your voice is so goddamn smooth. I shit you not, they said that word for word. People are telling me how much they love my voice.
Do you do any spoken word or like rap?
Okay, this is a great segue. So I do write poetry. I write.
Oh.
I don't even like to call them poems or poetry. I call them letters because it's letters to either myself, to certain people, individuals, and I write them as as individual letters, kind of like you would songs. Mm-hmm. And I form them into like an album of letters, and I make the artwork for it and all this stuff, and then I just send it to somebody, to anybody.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's amazing. So do you ever perform those in public?
Absolutely not.
Could be really cool for like a spoken word night, spoken word performance.
I'm pretty sure because that's kind of like what I guess my influence, because I do love spoken word poetry. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know. That's totally like something that I do that's therapeutic for me, and I love seeing people's reaction to it when they get to read it or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's super cool.
What about you? I feel like you should be doing some spoken word poetry.
Maybe I might make some forays into like comedy, something like that, some kind of hybrid sort of thing. I'm not sure. I just don't have good jokes.
You don't need good jokes. You're funny as is.
I might just go up there and, proselytize about what I think people should be doing or whatever, but people don't really like that.
I can 100% see you on Def Jam Poetry Jam.
Oh yeah?
If you remember what that was back in the day.
I don't know what that is, but I was going to pretend like I did.
You
until
ever
said that.
yeah. Well, you ever heard of Def Jam Comedy Jam?
No.
Oh, what?
No, I don't know what that is.
Like in the 90s, HBO did like a stand-up thing where it was just like black comics in New York, and it was like it was almost like as ruthless as the Apollo, and it's where all these comedians that are so like that are icons today kind of started off. And if they were like, if you're a success there, then it's like there's no question you're gonna have a career.
Mm-hmm.
So like Martin Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac. The list goes on and on and on.
Legends.
Yeah. So the transition from like the mid 2000s, they did a Def Poetry Jam.
Was it funny? Like funny poetry?
It was just poetry. Some of them were like really funny. Like even Dave Chappelle performed like his own poetry, and it was about him walking in a convenience store and what like this Asian clerk thought about him walking in that store. And then there was like Kanye West did one, which is like my favorite. He did like a handful of them that were so good. Sarah,
this was the days before the Kim farts more than anyone.
Yeah. The Sarah Kay, who's like my favorite spoken word poet. She has like some crazy, amazing ones.
So it's like a serious thing.
It's a serious thing, but it's like people are having fun with it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I feel like, I guess I just think about, that's pretty interesting to be performing in that kind of setup like that. I'm just looking at this room he's in. It's like 360. Well, not exactly, but kind of. I guess I kind of conceive of spoken word as like this serious thing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Like the mood is serious. Like people aren't supposed to laugh or something.
It depends. People can laugh at it. It can be serious and people can still laugh at it just because of the tension.
That's true.
Like, for example, like Kanye West was performing his song All Falls Down. And the way he said it, it was just funny. It was so amazing. Yeah, maybe before I die, I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah, you got to have your bucket list like that.
Okay, what's on your bucket list?
I want to be on Duncan Trussell's podcast as a guest.
Who?
I want to host SNL.
I could have guessed
be a
that.
Musical guest. Yeah.
I could have guessed that with all the sitcoms that you named. Oh wait, as a musical guest.
Well, I'd both. I mean, maybe not on the same day. That seems like that would be too much.
Well, but, I actually an article was just recommended to me about like the top 15 greatest SNL musical guests of all time.
Who's at the top? Who's number one?
I didn't look at who was number one, but obviously the top three were Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish?
Eilish, yeah. Clearly I'm not a fan, but Kendrick Lamar,
Hmm.
and somebody else.
Was it Lizzo?
Maybe.
Lizzo was she hosting and also the musical guest at the same time? I'm trying to think. That's a lot. That might be a little too intense for me to try to do both things in one day, but I just think that would be so fun. Let's see. What else would be my dang jam?
What, your bucket list?
Yeah.
I feel like your bucket list would be pretty long.
A lot of it, as far as just like being a entertainer, performer person, a lot of it is being not just a musician, but like a personality. Just being
Yeah, that's what a
little
bucket
bit
list.
funny.
Yeah, that's what a bucket list is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Your bucket list should never be like your career stuff.
Well, this is my career bucket list. That's what, by the time I do those things, I'll be ready to give up. I'll be like, okay, I got as far as I wanted to get. I don't know. I mean, I'm also kind of kidding, but when would I say I'm successful? I made it. I think the thing is, you never really get there. You know, you just keep moving the goalposts as soon as you can see them.
You don't get there if you really want to be successful. It's like what Seinfeld says: success is the enemy.
What does success mean? You know, is it being really famous, or is it like waking up and not having to do a job that you don't like?
Okay, so let's have this conversation, especially for you being like a musician, and
Mhm.
especially an independent artist who, I guess I can say just starting out. Can I say that?
Mhm. Yeah, you can say that for sure.
Just starting out, getting their foot in the door in the industry and whatnot.
Mhm.
Success is really a construct of whatever people in your industry make it out to be. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
you yourself can say, hey, I have a single, I put it out there, people like it, maybe it's doing numbers, maybe it's not doing numbers, but it's good music, I'm putting out good music. That's successful in a sense. But
Mhm.
depending on someone else in the industry and all that stuff, that's like that's baby steps. Not even baby steps, you're crawling.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what you do to get started. But in a day-to-day sense, like, what's your life look like? I think that's a big question.
Well, okay, so then do you measure success by, especially as an artist, by just how much money you have?
That is a way that you can measure
Ah, so you do believe that.
it. Well, it's, I mean, it's a question of this or that, right? What's going on? Oh, did
Okay.
he collapse? He ate too much chocolate cake.
Oh my god, that's the ice cream talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's fried ice cream. It's a big thing down here in the South.
I've got that at the like Mexican restaurant. I don't think I've ever had it in another context.
I'm a huge baker. We'll talk about this later. But
Okay.
I will show you what I bake, and you probably won't believe it when you see it, because you think it's like some type of Instagram thing. But it's on me. I love to bake. But success. So let's really do this. I would say, you know who Andre 3000 is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The way he's living his life now, and especially his interviews and stuff like that, is as if he's like really gave up music.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't. You could say he's still passionate about music, but he just doesn't care in a sense of all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoys playing at like, clubs that nobody knows about in front of like crowds of 10, 15 people. you know, like where you are now in a sense, or beginners are.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. I mean, it becomes like a. It's like a pyramid shape, right? You get to the top and then it's not fun anymore. So then you got to really consider what you're doing it for. But you know, you might want to get there first. I mean, not everybody feels compelled to do that, but the thing is, I mean, the money aspect, you can get or you can try to get rich, I guess. I mean, depends on what industry you're in, but
well, here's the thing.
it's kind of like as opposed to having to go to the job you don't like, you know? How to make music and not go back in the army because you're like, fuck, I don't have any health insurance. I don't have an emergency fund. Fucking, I'm not, you know, all of that.
Julia,
from music.
You're venting again.
No, I'm actually in an okay spot. I'm very privileged. My husband is still in the army right now, so we're okay for a little bit. But I would like to be an equal contributor.
Right. Well, what if I told you that you would continue to work, or not continue to work, but you could work a 9 to 5 and do music on the side and still go on tour and sell out shows, but you still have to, like, you know, have a 9 to 5. Would you want that?
I don't know if it would be feasible for me. I don't know if I would be able to occupy all of those different worlds very well.
Maybe I'm trying to give you like a would you rather type thing. I'm trying to think
Would
of,
I
like,
rather?
but I'm thinking, like, what if, like, where you are right now, you're grinding at this music thing, trying to make it and all this stuff. Everything is uncertain right now.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen.
That's very much what it's like. Yeah.
Right. You can have what you're doing now, or you can have a promise that you can perform in front of crowds, actual crowds, sell out shows, have music, albums, all this stuff, but you won't get paid for it, and you'll be working your 9 to 5.
What is the 9 to 5?
Let's say it's whatever you're doing now.
Like teaching music or whatever, we'll say something like that.
Yeah.
I would take that gig. I mean, if the 9 to 5 is something I don't hate, I would take it.
Then you would be successful.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Success is whatever, I think it's just whatever you believe, and hopefully not too much of a belief in your whatever industry you're in.
Yeah. What do you think success is?
Success to me is just doing what you love. One of my favorite quotes it's funny because it's by Drake. I love how you almost choke when I say his name. His quote is, "You live your dreams while you're awake. That's how you make them real."
Sorry, I just gulped very loud down some water down the hatch, but I agree with that.
Yeah, right. So, for example, my goal is to do like YouTube thing full time, voice acting, all this stuff. I'm doing it, and I'm making great quality videos and all this stuff. Maybe the recognition isn't there, and the pay isn't there. But making the content and doing it's all there.
Yeah, getting the fans and the engagement who are into it. That community aspect.
All right. And that will come in time for anything. But I guess it's just a question for how long are people willing to wait?
To garner the fans, yeah. Or what's their financial reality? Can they wait? Can they keep doing all these shows for free before they're like,
Well, it's
I need
always
health insurance.
it's always a patience thing for me. I feel
Hmm.
like it's not really much of the money, right? Because if it is the money, then clearly what any rational human being would do is just, okay, you have to go support yourself, get a job, 9 to 5 or whatever, go hold it down, and then come back to it when you can, whenever you can. But some people
Yeah,
don't come
it's
back to it.
yeah. I think that happens. I think a lot of times what happens is people have kids, and then they their priorities change, and they get kind of stuck in the job that was going to be temporary, because of like what our society is like and what our economy is like. It's like that in the military too. Like a lot of people kind of get stuck in the military because they have kids, and then they're like, "This is I can't take chances pursuing my dreams," and it's
And the benefits are too good, right?
yeah, it's definitely a better prospects for like stuff like health insurance than on the outside, especially like when I was in there were people I worked with pretty closely, like teammates I was pretty tight with, that told me that they'd like joined because they had like family members that needed health insurance, and not having the option of getting that on the outside, or them having like what's that called in insurance terms, pre-existing conditions,
Mm-hmm.
made it the best option that they had to get the treatment that they needed. And that's a kind of a way that our society funnels people into the military. That's a whole thing.
Oh, you're telling me. I just watched a video like a few weeks ago saying that there's a kind of like a crisis happening in the military right now where it's like each year it's less and less people are signing up for it.
Yeah, that does not surprise me. Um, yeah, I mean, I think to get a little bit meta, like I think our society's been moving in this direction for a long time, and there's always been a lot of people that have this kind of vision or awareness, but people are kind of done playing the game that's not fair, and they are trying to find alternative games to play. Kind
I,
of step away from the paradigm.
I guarantee you they can get me to join if they say, we promise you you can play at least one season in the NBA. I'm there.
Really?
Well, okay, maybe not the NBA, but let's say what's something that I really, really want? If they can promise me that within the next 5, 10 years or whatever, that I get to go to outer space and be an astronaut for like a week or so or something like that, and then maybe throw in a dinner date with Hillary Duff,
Hillary Duff.
I will sign that contract so fast.
Oh my god. How long? So how long would you be willing to be in for a little bit of something you really want? For a little bit of time
I would
spent doing
say,
something you want.
I mean, to see like outer space and to experience that,
Hmm.
I would say like a good 5 to 10 years. And with Hillary
Mm.
Duff, I was 5 to 10 years, definitely.
You saw
Definitely.
the Lindsay McGuire movie, right?
Absolutely. That was
Mm,
me.
really? No.
I was Gordo.
No.
I was trying to date Lizzie.
I thought you meant you worked on the movie or something. And I was like, no, you're not old enough. That doesn't make any sense.
No. As a kid, I dreamed that I was Gordo.
Mm-hmm,
Gordo was such a... He didn't know what he had in front of him.
Well, he kind of did. I mean, he always liked Lizzie. But he's kind of like the classic, like... He's a classic simp.
Thank you.
He puts up with way too much shit from Lizzie because he kind of likes her. But she doesn't appreciate it because people don't actually respond well to, like, when you devalue yourself for them. They're not like, oh, this is a high value person. LOL, this is like, I sound like one of those douchebag podcast guys.
Preach.
I mean, that's just like psychology, but maybe a little bit of economics. Like, it doesn't matter really what gender you are. It's not, I'm not making like a men and women be like this statement. It's just like when people overextend themselves or have weak boundaries or whatever. When people please, it doesn't actually make people respect them.
I agree. I 100% agree. Give me the outer space, the date with Hilary Duff, and throw in maybe a private concert from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Gotcha.
I'm in there for 10 years.
I don't know. You might find during that time you're like, I don't think this is worth it. The thing is, they got to give it to you at the end.
Oh, at the end?
I mean, you don't want it the other way. Trust me.
I bet.
You need to have that to look forward to, because otherwise you're going to get it, and then you're going to be like,
listen, give it to me in
this
in
was
intervals.
not worth it.
Give it to me in intervals. If
this
you give
was
me
not.
if you give me the Hilary Duff date first, easy. I'm going to get a picture with her. And I'll have that in my locker room, in my helmet, or whatever. Again, when I serve these 10 years, I'm going to be a water boy.
You're going to be a water boy?
Yeah.
It's not really that bad being like, it depends on what your job is, but...
No, fuck it. I'm going to be IT.
I think, and I was never a junior enlisted soldier, right? But I think it's, in certain ways, it's a lot easier to be like a private than to be an officer.
And I'm huge on Star Trek. Like, I love that whole military system. So I can just pretend? Does that sound bad?
Well, you know, I mean, if you're doing like a water boy kind of job, you kind of just gotta do the stuff you need to do to not get in trouble, and then show up and do like your simple tasks and just show a little bit of initiative, and people will think that you're amazing.
Well,
they'll be like, he did the thing I said and he didn't fuck anything up. This guy's awesome.
I love to believe, and sometimes I would daydream that I'm like, all right, I'm a water boy. I'm just doing these little tasks here and there. But behind, like, I'm secretly plotting, like, something's about to go down today. An explosion.
What kind of stuff are you plotting?
Explosion is about to happen. I had to save everyone. Like, I'm the last hope. They're about to make a movie out of me.
Yeah, you're the hero.
Exactly. Or aliens are finally going to come, and I'm, like, the only hope for humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
it's
yeah.
And then everybody gets killed besides you and the hot lady on the ship that was, like, kind of mean and scary, but also she was, like, in charge of you, but then it's just you two, and then you have to repopulate the whole world. Sorry. Haha.
That or I'm doing my daily water task, and I'm being confronted by a mysterious stranger who says he wants to recruit me into a special program, and it's like a secret agent type deal. I feel like that would happen to me.
Yeah, for sure. You could try. You can join. You look. Everybody's gonna have their own experience. They're not gonna have my experience. You can only have your own. So
let me ask you this, because I have I think I have a funny joke to say, depending on your answer. Were you the type of do you believe that your experience was so bad, and that how you did your job was so bad that people remember you for that?
Oh, certainly.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
they
Then
do. They
then
do.
then I will definitely be IT. And the moment I get there, they're like, "You're gonna have to do your job. You're gonna have to do it well. All right, kid. Don't be like this person." And there's like a picture of you.
There might be, honestly.
An example.
I'm not I'm not even kidding. I tried to learn from those experiences, but yeah, there are people that are like mad at me in this world because of who I was at that time.
All she had to do was flip on the lights. That's it. That's all we ask.
Oh my god, I just dropped my bowl of popcorn kernels and they just flew everywhere. It's okay. I'll clean them up later.
It's the PTSD. You're literally me describing that whole thing, that whole story to you. Your hands were shaking.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely learned some emotional lessons in the military.
Such as
Well, I learned a lot about leadership, redemption.
redemption. I love that word.
What responsibility really is, how to play games, how to play certain games.
Oh, that's so. Oh yeah, that is such the film industry too.
I'm glad I learned them. I guess in an industry I don't care about, as opposed to the music industry, which I care about. I did kind of learn that kind of what you were saying about success. The military have certain ideas about what success is and what it constitutes, but ultimately you have to decide what you're really about and what you're trying to do, and that might make you appear less successful to other people, but you might be
Content.
you might be doing what you feel like you need to do. I mean, was
Listen,
that became evident in certain situations where like you could choose between either doing really well at a task or project you had going on in the army, or like making sure people on your team were okay. And there were times when I prioritized people more than doing a good job at tasks, which, I don't know, somebody that's better at their job than me maybe could have balanced both those things, but I wasn't able to, so I made a call. I don't think it was wrong. You just have to manage your perception.
So you're telling me, I'm trying to think of a good example. You're telling me if you had a group of friends over and you're going to cook them dinner, and you know that a certain friend really loves macaroni and cheese, but everyone else wants rice. You're willing, and you like that friend the most out of everyone else. You're willing to sacrifice the rice to please at least everyone, but just to give that macaroni and cheese to that one person and give everyone else kind of like an okay dinner.
It depends on if me giving that macaroni and cheese, like I'm really the only person that can make sure that person gets their macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean? Like when you're in charge of people, that's the kind of power that you actually have over their lives when you're a leader in the military. So your boss might be like, no, we need to have rice. But then you have somebody who's like, look, I need to have macaroni. Stuff's not going great.
I think I can do it. I've been watching Power Rangers since I was born, and I've been studying very closely at what Red Rangers do.
That's important. Yeah, it's really important. But it's a challenge because you also got to balance the mission. Sometimes it's not just what your boss wants. It's also like
I'll defeat the monster and you clean the Zords, the Megazords at the end of the day.
I bet you could. I think you should join the Signal Corps.
Be the best
but your enemies will not be like Megazords. It'll be like your enemies will be like it's raining and your boss wants you to set up an antenna pointed directly at a building and not the sky.
Right. Oh yeah. And I've experienced that.
Those will be your enemies. or like
God
having to do
is my
like
enemy.
security updates on like 120 computers by like Thursday. That will also be your enemy.
Steve Jobs is your enemy.
He was kind of, well, he would have been more my enemy if I was having to work with like iPhones, but I was doing a lot of Androids when I had to do phones. Phones were my enemy. That was definitely part of it.
Snap! So you're not tech savvy at all.
Not really. I mean,
And you were IT.
I learned certain skills around troubleshooting and problem solving that I did not have before I joined the military, but it's not my interest. I was hard for me because I didn't like my job.
Wow.
It's hard to not like your job, but I think I have ADHD, and that makes it like very hard to not like your job because okay, this song slaps. This is a good Elvis song.
Is it though?
You know this song?
No, I can't name a single Elvis song.
I learned all these Elvis songs for that student I had, but this is okay. So this is the good story I'm going to tell you. This mom, who's way more involved in music lessons than I usually prefer parents to be, but I don't really know how to establish this boundary. So I guess, I'll accommodate them. Homeschool mom, she's considers music part of the curriculum. So I'm like, okay, fine.
That's awesome.
So I start putting together this medley. She keeps adding stuff to it, and I'm kind of like, all right, we gotta just settle on something because it's time. It's more than I do for most of my students, but I'm not opposed to it. That's why I was doing it. But I was like, this is getting to be too much for like a 30-minute lesson every 2 weeks. But she wanted me to add this Elvis song. What's it called?
When is Elvis gonna get fat? I'm still waiting for that. He should be what Tom Hanks looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. She wanted me to learn the song American Trilogy, which includes Dixie, and it includes Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, and some other stuff. It's like kind of referencing some like Civil War kind of stuff. But I was just kind of like, at this point, she's already asked for a lot, and we're talking about doing this for a recital that's going to be performed in public. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want I don't want to teach this student to perform Dixie at this recital. It's politically loaded.
Oh, okay.
It's not something I'm like willing to represent. It's not my heritage,
Well,
like I said.
Well, let me ask you.
If
the price is right, would you?
I don't think it could be.
$2 million.
Yeah, I would do it for $2 million. But I would have to make it okay to myself. I would have to allocate some of that money to like anti-hate organizations, like anti-racism organizations.
You can allocate that money to wherever you want. People are still gonna come after you.
They probably will. But that's where you got to make a determination about what you think is like more helpful at that point. But
yo, he is just like, kissing these women like.
I bet his wife loved that.
Shit, it's probably her idea.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
So she asked me to do that, and I'm like, it's just politically charged. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. sure, there's like some nuance within this An American Trilogy. Like he represents the South, he also represents the North. Like there's some nuance there. I don't know the whole history of this song. Like, but I don't care enough as I'm not willing to represent it to other people because it's not what it represents is not. I'm not willing to try to educate people on the nuance there.
That is so interesting. I want. Oh, that could be a awesome reality show. Like, get people in whatever profession they're in or whatever dreams they're trying to make, and you give them the option of, we can make this come true with everything you want, but you have to sell your soul and do something that you're totally against.
Not okay with.
Yeah.
Well, this mom asked me to do that, and I was just kind of gently like, I don't think it's right for this venue, and I gave her a soft no, and she reacted the way that you would expect a southern white lady to react.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Exactly.
Telling me no.
She was like, I am a proud Southern Christian woman. I'm just like, what does Elvis have to do with being Christian? What are you talking about? And I pulled the I'm a veteran card because
no.
when I'm dealing with people like that, I'm like, this is some shit they probably think matters a lot. So I'm 100% going to use it to make them feel guilty and bad.
I'm a veteran.
She was just like, anybody who thinks it's not just a beautiful song is brainwashed by the woke people or something like that. But what she's really saying is, my perspective as a Southern woman who's proud of my Southern heritage is more important than anybody else around in this public place feeling comfortable who has a different background than me and different associations with this song. So basically what she said was white supremacy. The
woke people.
Exactly. It was and then she fired me. She was just like, I am firm on this. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying that's what I wanted to happen, but I'm also not really sad that it happened. But there's a little bit of bitterness that I was.
You bitter that you didn't get to uppercut her?
I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. I didn't say it was because it was a racist song, but the way that you responded didn't convince me that it wasn't a racist song.
Wait a second. Have you ever gotten into a argument with someone, like such a heated argument that you fought them? Like legit fight?
No.
Okay.
The only people that can get me riled up like that are people in my family.
Oh, okay. No, that's a given. That's what everyone.
No, I've never physically fought anybody. What about you? Have you physically fought anybody?
I don't think so. Well, I did like mixed martial arts when I was younger. So
Gotcha.
That's like
cool.
I guess that's like way different.
Mm.
I ever fought I did wrestling in high school. I had to wrestle a girl in order to win a medal.
Mm.
That was one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life.
Why were you afraid of getting a boner?
I just didn't know where I could grab. I did not know what to do. Her dad was very intimidating because her dad was like one of those serious like sports dads.
Gotcha.
Like giving
so
her.
Who won?
I won, but it was mostly just because. Okay, so my weight class was 119.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously she weighed 119.
Yeah.
She clearly had this plan going into it that she was like gonna fake grab me and just go straight for a takedown.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment she did that, I scrawled, and somehow she lost balance and she completely flipped over.
Oh.
And I was pinning her somehow with my head in between her legs. And I won.
Yeah. That's, yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff happens. I mean, you know, people dang make a miscalculation and that's it.
That is
I
an
wonder if she
understatement.
remembers that.
I'm sure she does.
I wonder if she's mad at you.
This would be amazing if I could ever find out who she is. Maybe this is a love story waiting to happen.
Oh my god. Remember when I pinned you? When we wrestled?
I would literally get a knock at my door and she says, "Are you Karlan Jones?" And I'm like, "Oh my god. Are you the wrestler all those years ago?" She's like, "Listen, every single day since that evening, I could not stop thinking about what you did to me. I've had to walk with the disgrace from my family. That medal that you have in your room as you speak should be in my room. And I don't know how we can make this right besides doing a rematch."
Yeah.
And
And then
yeah.
and then you start having sex during the rematch. Or is it
Well, I was
this
going to
more
say a
just
training montage, but I
Okay,
guess that's
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, that's yeah, I mean, there definitely you can do a protracted version of it or basically a scene from a porno.
I was
These
thinking,
are all options.
I was thinking like a Disney Plus film. You went straight to Cinemax. Like,
Disney Plus.
how can we make this more graphic?
LOL, we are not paying attention to this
You were not at
movie
all, not whatsoever. I gave up on this. Why is this movie? There's 40 more minutes. I don't understand. I don't get
This
it.
is why I don't watch biopics about musicians,
But
because they just do a bunch of music stuff.
but biopics are normally not even this long. That's the crazy thing about it. And why Elvis is this long makes no sense.
He
Like,
didn't even live that long.
artists who deserve to be this long, Michael Jackson. I'm gonna go with John Lennon. I'm also gonna go with anybody from the Rolling Stones, because I'm sure there's hella stories to tell. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Give me Tupac, Jay-Z, Eminem has some crazy freaking stories. His should be 6 hours long, like a Bollywood film.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every artist but Elvis.
I want to see more intrigue and drama between Elvis and his bandmates. 'Cause that's really
Exactly.
what it's about, you know? That's the shit I want to see. I want to see who hates each other
Right.
and who's sleeping together.
I'd rather see a biopic on Taylor Swift than this right now. I feel like that would be a great biopic,
Oh yeah,
especially
I mean, she's got some great dating drama.
no, not even a dating drama, but like sure, you can put that in there, but like,
Wait, isn't she like enemies with somebody? Who's her enemy?
but here's the
Is
thing.
it
That's
is
the
it
thing.
Kesha or something?
But that's the thing. The biopic will be about how she got her net worth, and it's not through her music. It's through suing literally everybody.
Suing everybody?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
She doesn't. What network? What do you mean?
So I'm trying to remember what year this was. I want to say it was 2015 or maybe 2014. But she literally was just suing people left and right to the point where she was literally making $1 million a day.
That's not how I would want to spend being a really famous person, but everybody's got to do their own thing.
I'm trying to support my spaceship dreams and my Hillary Duff dreams as well.
Oh yeah. Well, if you get big enough, you can just team up with like Jeff Bezos and hop on his spaceship.
Jeff
Or you could build
Bezos.
your own, I guess.
Those type of celebrities though, those type of wealthy individuals make me sick.
Yeah.
They're so lazy.
Well, they've forgotten what the point of being successful is. Everybody at that point has. Like, what you were doing this for is
To
just
build an
you.
Iron Man suit.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Wait, that's not where you're going with it?
Well, but then they build it and they're still not happy with it. You know, that's the thing.
But that's the thing, they don't build it.
I mean, they might be, but they wouldn't be telling you that they were building it. I am sure Elon Musk is trying to build a fucking Iron Man suit, and it's fucking stupid as hell.
I don't
Because
understand.
his team builds it, and then he's like, no, I can still smell my farts when I fart in it. So then they have to go back to the drawing board, and like, he just goes in there and like wrecks whatever they're doing, and that's why he can never have an Iron Man suit.
I promise you, if I get a $50 billion today, or I get $50 billion tomorrow, by next week, you will see the first live Avengers team assemble, solving the world's problem. I promise you. And I will be in the forefront with the weirdest freaking outfit armor you will ever see.
What you're describing is basically a super villain. What a super
No, I'm not a super
does.
villain. That's what people are gonna think. They're gonna think like, oh, he's corrupt with this power. Like, who is he to decide what's like the law and stuff like that? And I'm like, listen, someone's got to do this. I'm a hero. Listen. People who hate me, I'm gonna just say this to them. I am the hero that you all. I'm the hero that this world needs, but doesn't deserve.
Okay, that's not what villains say, so that's good.
That's what heroes say. That's what heroes say. I would be a hero.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks they're the hero.
I am the hero.
Okay.
And I will
if you say
force
so,
these countries to listen to me.
I will see who's really loyal soon. Why is she mad at him?
God, my arch nemesis will be
Jeff Bezos.
Will be an IT experienced soldier whose secret identity is an unknown singer artist.
Mm-hmm.
Such a perfect identity.
Yeah, but what's my actual like power?
Your IT.
Yeah, I kept telling everybody I was bad at IT, so that meant I was actually good at IT, because that would be a perfect cover.
Listen, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad at IT. When you're IT, people just accept it because they definitely don't know what to do.
What I've learned about IT is that you should look up how to do things on Google. But I don't always remember that when I get really mad at my computer. And then my husband, his name is Matt. Matt is like, have you like Googled this? And then I'm like, leave me alone! Get out there!
Okay, so clearly his wife has left him.
She's sick of his shit.
Okay. Have you ever experienced this?
Being sick of somebody's shit?
No. of someone being sick of your shit and just leaving you.
Kind of.
Really?
Well, I mean, I got broken up with over long distance at a point where the relationship was very unhealthy.
Wait a second. You got a Dear John letter?
No, it was a phone call.
Oh, so you got a Dear John voicemail?
Yeah, that was the last time I got broken up with. I hope that I don't get any more romantic breakups, but I don't. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in your life.
You sound like a very confident IT person.
I mean, I'm married now, but we'll see. It would be absurd to. I think people make the mistake of thinking that their spouse will never leave them, and then they fucking let their shit get out of control, and then their spouse leaves them, and then they're like, "How could this happen?" You know.
Wow.
You gotta remember they have that option. So you gotta take care of your corner and take care of your mental health and be pursuing your own goals and not pinning everything on your partner and making them responsible for your destiny and then getting all resentful because other people can't do that for you.
I just had a horrible daydream of what you just said. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I literally dreamed that everything that you were saying, and I'm like, I'm a billionaire, $50 billion in the bank. I have my own Avengers team trying to save the world. And my wife leaves me because she thinks I've turned to a villain. And I'm like,
man.
No, I have not. I will convince you. I will make you stay by my Avengers team.
Then explain why my Avengers murdered a bunch of civilians in a country in the Middle East last week.
We told them to evacuate. They had plenty of time. They had a good solid 5 minutes. A good solid 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, people forget that their spouse can leave, so they send their Avengers teams to kill civilians willy-nilly, you know, because they just forget. They forget that their spouse can leave.
My Avengers promo would literally be a toll-free number. Call us now. We will handle the world's problem, whatever problem you have.
You fucking hate Chad, who lives next door. Fuck that guy.
Do you think
we will murder him?
Do you think the business that ripped you off is racist? Let us have a word with them.
Did your kid's ukulele teacher not want to teach them how to play Dixie on the ukulele?
Okay, you're venting again. I think I already know what to name this podcast episode for my YouTube portion.
What's it going to be called?
It's going to be called You're Venting Again.
He's up there. He is sky high right now. The show must go on. That's a thing that you learn in the entertainment industry, and you also learn it in the military. You're like, well, fuck it. This did not go the way that I wanted it to, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway, because you gotta. The show must go on.
How does he not wear a fat suit at this point of his career?
Turn his mic off.
Leave it on. Sounds like a job for the Avengers. Get him off stage. Literally just send a missile his way.
Turns "you're fired" into a whole new meaning. This building is about to be fired.
Yes, and then I would
It's
say
all about to be fired.
I would say the best puns the world has ever heard.
Sam.
Okay. Okay. Give me an example. Tell me what problem that you have, and give me an actual problem, because I'm an Avenger now. I can solve any problem the world has for the good guys.
Let's see. I have a disability, and the government won't pay me enough to sustain myself, but I also can't get any disability benefits if I have a job. And also, I can't get paid enough at my job because I have a disability.
That is a simple problem. We've actually just solved that one before.
Okay.
Luckily, We already just robbed a bank.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dirty bank. You know, they were like money laundering.
Well,
And
that's
whatnot.
all of them are dirty, right?
Right.
Just depends on if you think that what's dirty is what's legal,
Right.
or
Right. Right. So here, take this millions of dollars. You have that. And we're going to go take care of that law firm government building that keeps harassing you. All right.
okay. So
And
you're
then-
gonna.
And then you say one last thing to me, and then I'll say my pun.
That's really good that you are. I'm really thank you so much for agreeing to help me. I just hope that nobody can get hurt in this situation.
Right. And madam, with your disability, do not worry, because the Avengers came in crutch. And then I'll fly away and leave like a hole in your ceiling.
And you're just gonna blow up the building. The building just blows up. I'm like, how was that helpful?
All right, boys, it's time to help another civilian.
Wow, that was a good one. You really got me there.
I'm so happy I can make the world a better place.
What is Elvis all riled up about?
It's I was gonna say his fried ice cream is not here.
Why is he upset?
Why did Tom Hanks look like that?
Why didn't they just hire a legit fat guy?
Oh my god, right? America's full with them. Hey-o. Did you hear that crazy statistic that 80% of Americans are going to be obese in less than 10 years?
That doesn't surprise me. America's not doing really well in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
What's going to be like the fattest state? Probably like Mississippi, right? They have like the worst stats on everything.
Whoa. You're stereotyping.
I'm not throwing shade. Like on all of the metrics, like healthcare, education, they're like doing the worst out of all the states.
But it's like
That sucks for them. I'm not throwing shade at like the people of Mississippi. It's because of like the kind of policies that they have.
You're playing a card game right now. You're like, this has like the most highest probability to just fucking encave in itself. But you don't know that. It might be.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
It might be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Another state in the South.
It's possible.
But you see, my Avengers could handle that problem.
Okay, give me the pun that's going to handle this problem.
Okay, you have to say it to me though, as if it is an actual problem. That's how it works.
Okay, in this scenario, I'm a little boy, I'm 10 years old, and I have a very high level of anxiety because my parents are very religious, and every week I go to church, and the pastor talks about who's going to go to hell, and I'm very afraid of going to hell. So I have a very high level of anxiety, but I can't really articulate that to anybody in my life because.
Say no more, little kid. I know exactly how
but
to
I'm
help
so
you.
I'm also a chubby little boy because the way that I make myself feel better is eating a bunch of little Debbie cakes and stuff. Sometimes I stash them under my bed and I actually gorge myself on them at nighttime. I'm not doing okay.
Okay. TMI there, little one, but I will help you.
Mm-hmm,
My first order of business, I will visit this pastor of yours. I would knock on his door, and he opens it. And I'm in my scary Iron Man suit with a huge machine gun pointed right at him. And I open my mask and I say, "I came from hell. to tell you that we have room for one more. And I just shoot him, just completely obliterate his body, right? That's one problem solved.
Okay.
Next, I come back to you, and I'm going to solve your obesity problem.
Okay.
What were those cupcakes you said you eat?
Little Debbie cakes.
Debbie cakes.
You know, like, what are those called? You can have some zebra cakes. You could have some, like, oatmeal cookies. You know what I'm talking about? Swiss rolls, ho-hos, snowballs, all those good tasty Christmas tree brownies.
Ho-hos.
So all of those tasty little snacks that you can get at like the grocery store or like Family Dollar. They're easy to get. You can even get them out of honey buns. You can get them out of a vending machine.
Honey buns.
I'm a little boy in
vending
Mississippi,
machines.
so like there's a vending machine at my school that's just full of this shit, and that's what I spend my lunch money on.
Well, I would come visit you by flying through your door, your classroom door, and it was sex education class.
That does not exist in Mississippi.
Well, I made it into a sex education class, and I started throwing, what are those things called? Debbie cakes?
Little Debbie.
I started throwing them at all the overweight boys, including you. And then I show them a picture of, let's say, a mattress actress. And her name is Debbie. And I say, kids, you're eating the wrong kind of Debbie.
Okay. So you're gonna change their food fixation to a sex fixation.
I tell them that you burn the most carbs by having sex.
Okay, so their vice becomes not overeating but masturbation.
I said sex. Sex is not masturbating.
I'm like 10 years old.
Well, we are talking about Mississippi, right? Hey-oh.
Oh, man. Okay.
There's definitely some 13-year-olds getting pregnant out there, and it's been happening for a while.
Yeah, a lot of these problems kind of go hand in hand with like lack of resources and education and stuff.
Oh wait, I should have said this as a pun. I said I should have been like, you kids are overweight. You need to stop snacking, stop eating these Debbie cupcakes, and then get this. I pull out a big bottle of ketchup. Stop putting this on your burgers and hot dogs. It will kill you. And then I throw the ketchup at you, and you catch it as if it's like some amazing souvenir, right? You're like crying, tears of joy.
That's important,
right?
Yeah.
And then you look at me, and I say, "I'll catch up with you later," and I fly away.
But you said not to use ketchup.
But the pun is great, okay?
How did that solve the problem of my obesity?
Here's a problem, and I just throw another missile at the school.
Well, I guess it's not a problem anymore, right?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
I consider that a Thanos snap.
That's too funny. That is a Thanos snap, yep. That's pretty good.
I wish we could have saw more of this wife doing, I don't know, wife things. And by wife things, I mean like, I don't know, like being there.
They would hang out a lot.
Yeah.
On the tour bus a little bit.
They did?
There was a scene where they were hanging out on the tour bus.
Whatever. That doesn't count.
I was not paying attention to this movie, but that's, again, this is not the norm. When I try to watch a movie, I just talk the whole time, and then people get mad. It's just a whole thing. But
listen, first off, the conversation is great, so I'm not too mad at that. And also, the movie completely turned me off with how just the presentation of it.
Very overproduced. Overproduced.
It's so overproduced.
That's what we would say about the music. If this movie was a song, we would say it's overproduced.
I feel like this movie was originally made by you, and then a 10-year-old says, "Let me edit it for a few weeks, and then give it back to you."
10-year-old put a bunch of like iMovie transitions in it.
They put a bunch of comic book transitions in it, trying to make it the next Marvel movie.
Yeah, definitely has that aspect. How would the Avengers have solved Elvis's problems of?
Well, what's his problem?
I think he misses his mom, and he wasn't really prepared to be famous. I think he's got a lot of pressure because of who he is, but he doesn't have the emotional maturity or intelligence to navigate.
It's very common.
The role that the world has kind of put him in. That's pretty much the problem. Why being a human is hard for everybody.
It's very simple for me.
Why? Why is it?
Well, look at me. I'm a billionaire. And I have my own Avengers squad.
Yeah. I guess
really
you're
cool.
right. Well, how would the Avengers help Elvis with his situation?
Easy. We would introduce him to a bunch of MILFs, and he can pick out his own mother.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so like a kind of mother, surrogate, foster mother kind of situation.
That's right. And we'll also show him some foster fathers as well, some gilfs.
That's probably part of his wounding too, is like not having his dad around. I think all the racist stuff probably stressed him out a lot too. That probably
there's no way Elvis wasn't racist himself.
Well, I mean, everybody is. At least everybody that's white. I mean, it depends on how you define racism. But like
everyone has a different filter. People. Everyone has a different filter, and they don't know the things they can say and don't say, and how they should act appropriately, depending. Wait, he died at 42? Damn, that's pretty young.
I think it probably contributed to some identity confusion stuff for him, because it was not really in line with his values or how he conceived of himself. But it was, the racist stuff was like deemed necessary for him to be able to be the star that he was. White people were very threatened with him blurring the lines of black and white art, and the hierarchy of white supremacy being blurred by that. If he's making like music like black people music, well, maybe we're not better than black people, and that was like very threatening to the.
This sounds like a problem for the.
Now he's fat.
This sounds like a problem for the Avengers to solve.
How would the Avengers solve racism?
Easy. I'm so happy you asked that. This is the best question you've asked the whole podcast. Luckily, with my billions of dollars, I have constructed a new type of nuke that I can shoot into the sun and create a huge solar flare that will burn half of the planet into a crisp.
And it's which half of the planet is it?
It's pretty much the whole planet, because the radiation will get to everyone eventually. But everyone will be pretty much burned in the same color.
Everybody's dead, racism isn't a problem.
No, it's not even because everyone's dead. Everyone's now the same color.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they're burned. Their skin is like halfway falling off.
So because everybody is scrambling for survival, things like racism seem very petty in comparison to that.
So let's say if I did it, I would say like your complexion, let's say you would be 20 times more darker. That's how you would look. And that's how everyone would look.
Yeah. But people would still then be different shades, because...
No, they would be the same shade.
You wouldn't become darker?
No.
if you're already have darker skin.
I did the science on it, and at any point in time that people feel like they're darker than someone else, it looks like I'm gonna have to construct another nuke to adjust this.
I feel like it'd be simpler just to destroy the entire planet. Then racism would not be a problem anymore.
No, not at all. Ice cream exists on this planet.
Okay, gotcha. So it's worth it for things to exist because of ice cream existing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That probably kept Elvis going. I mean, he was kind of sad, you know. It was just kind of sad fella.
I bet his belly's so fat. Elvis. Do people really like Elvis? This guy looks like a regular TikTok fuckboy.
Yeah, he really has that vibe. I don't know if the way that he was portrayed in this movie was really the right kind
It
of
feels like it was
personality.
so ingenuous. It felt like they were not. I'm gonna do my research tonight on Elvis and how he really was, because
I
I've
think
heard some shit.
he seems like he has more bravado just in the way that his personality is, like a little more bravado, a little bit more like cockiness. I mean, it's a persona archetype that we're all like familiar with, like people that are like that.
Fuck it, I'm googling it now. Is Elvis racist? It almost tried to autocorrect me and say, "Is Elvis dead?"
Why is that a thing people have been searching? Like, who doesn't know that?
Well, hey, people still believe Tupac's alive.
Well, oh, you know what? I totally forgot about the whole conspiracy theory aspects. Maybe he maybe he isn't dang dead and he just needed people to think he was dead so that they would leave him alone.
A lot of this stuff is rumored. I need some actual historians to confirm this.
Music historians. You can just talk to some ethnomusicologists.
Oh,
Or
I love these
music-
in biopics, like the little things you have to read.
Oh, this guy was financial abuse. I would probably know that if I was paying attention to this movie.
Well, he mentioned it. He mentioned it. I remember it. No country, but eventually settled out in court. Wait, I'm not done reading. Oh, fuck. I hate that. Just leave it up. He spent his final years in poor health wandering through the Vegas casinos, pouring his fortune into slot machines. Why didn't you show that? That would have been a better movie.
He 100% was doing that in this movie that we talked through.
His influence in music and culture lives on. Fuck off.
It is interesting from the perspective of who was listening to Elvis and then they made music, and then who's listening to that person who was listening to Elvis, and then who listened to that person that would listen to that person that listened to Elvis that listened to that person, and it just goes on and on. You know, I mean that's what is interesting about any of these big people. It's like maybe what they were was just a flawed person, and they leave a complex legacy behind. But what's true is they impacted a lot of people,
And
regardless of what we think about this individual.
And you know why? I think I would like to believe that a lot of artists are. Let's even say for Elvis, for an example, he was a good artist. I'm not going to say he was amazing. Hell, people might even say he was great, but he was a good artist. But all of his things that got into the tabloids, into the media, made him a superstar.
All his scandals.
Right. The same thing happened with
Yeah.
Tupac. Even though I find Tupac amazing and everything he says, and his music is still relevant today, but he wouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore of hip hop if it wasn't for him being in the news every single week.
Yeah, yeah. Taylor Swift. LOL.
Taylor Swift wouldn't even. I don't think people would know who she was if it wasn't for Kanye.
Well, to be fair, she was very famous before that.
Okay. Well, but that's okay. She was a star when that when that happened. But after that Kanye incident, then she was a superstar.
She definitely has some good drama. I don't think I can ever be famous like that because I'm.
Never say never.
I'm probably gonna be a boring person in the industry.
Oh, don't say that. No. Listen.
Well,
okay.
you don't want. The point is, you don't want all that shit, and your life's not actually good when you have all that drama. It's like
That's not true. That's not true. As an artist, and I can say this for like my letters or poetry writing, whatever, and maybe you can vouch for this. When you're in like the most distress, when shit is really going down in your life, the creative juices start flowing a little bit, huh?
I can't say that was true in some really bad situations I was in the army. That had the opposite effect.
Well, okay, in the army, I'm willing to believe in the army when shit went down in IT, you couldn't escape to your journal and write down some lyrics.
Well, during that period of my life, I tried to keep the creative juices flowing, but I hated everything that I was writing because I didn't like myself, and I was very alienated from my creativity. It's not the same for everybody. I mean, you could say, are those pills that just fanned out?
Are you listening to this music right now?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, at first it was like playing Elvis music, and I'm like, that's not Elvis.
I just heard the word tater tots, and I'm like, that sounds like right.
This is pretty wild. Oh, but okay, that's the movie Starfighters. So at the end of the movie, I normally say, because obviously this is someone's favorite movie out there, and believe it or not, this movie has mostly positive reviews, which is a huge shocker to me. So I'll start with you. Give me your overall review of the movie, scale it on 1 to 10, and then tell me what you appreciate from the movie.
I'm gonna give it like a 5. It's I don't think a lot of the casting was great choices. I don't feel like Elvis's personality, bravado, and all these other things really came through.
I don't think it did either.
Where was the
fried food? Like, where was him eating?
Yeah, there was definitely some stuff missing that I know now because I read the thing at the end that I would have had no idea any of that was happening.
Right.
If I didn't read that, honestly.
Right. You're like, what? Are we watching a different movie? Like, crazy.
It did make me more sympathetic to Elvis. I guess I appreciate that. I appreciate that it showed that the origin of a lot of his music was black music. That was necessary and that was truthful.
Barely. That was barely truthful. They could have showed more.
Yeah, that's true. They definitely could have. Do I feel like a different person on the other side of watching this? Maybe.
I can answer that for you. Well, actually, I think you are.
Really? Why is that?
You really vented a lot of this IT stuff that we had no idea you went through.
We scratched the surface a lot.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, the real value of this movie was that I got to watch it with my new friend.
Who? No, I'm joking. Hey, look, that's my department. Mm-hmm. That's the grips, and I do electric too, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, well, I got to make a new friend, Karlan, and now I have experience being on a podcast, which was my first experience of being on a podcast.
Absolutely.
And I am, chatty as always, and I got plenty more.
Oh, well, what do you appreciate about the movie? What do you appreciate?
Um,
You have to pick one thing.
uh,
What the fuck are we listening to? You hear this?
let me think. I guess I appreciate that I
I
feel a little more sympathetic toward Elvis now.
Listen, I can appreciate this 2022 greatest hits mix they did for Elvis.
Yeah, they did some. Seems like they maybe gave some emerging artists a chance to contribute to this film, which I appreciate.
That can be you.
That's nice. Maybe.
Well, you know what? We'll talk about that later. I was going to say about certain artists, but for me personally, I'm going to give this movie maybe I will give this a 5 because yes, I will admit this movie was very extra in terms of its I guess directing, its presentation, even its visual effects, and even its practical effects, which it really didn't need. Why hire a fat Tom Hanks? I get you want to get people into theaters, but Jesus Christ, the budget. Tom Hanks is not cheap. Listen, this is a movie.
Also, like, you like Tom Hanks. Everybody likes Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
he's the bad guy. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
I
not
had
a
no
good
idea
look
he
either.
was I had no idea he was a bad guy until I saw the thing at the end.
Right. Yeah. That's a no. We're not rooting against Tom Hanks. Never that. Also, this is a biopic, right? This is a movie about music. Although it showed music, it played music, none of it was enjoyable until it got to the Little Richie part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. The music was not... I don't even know what this movie's heart was besides some crazy transitions and stuff. Like, it seems like it was more about the visual effects than almost anything music related.
Oh, yeah, it's really just all over the place. The casting, I would just say the casting for Elvis is off. Everyone else, I don't really care for. Maybe the casting for Tom Hanks is off too. You just didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go there. I feel like maybe they were competing with Colin Farrell from Batman when they try to make him look like the Penguin or whatever. But yeah, I think that's just what this movie is. It's just unnecessary. My appreciation for the movie, though, I can appreciate that this movie gave me the grand idea to work really hard and become a billionaire so I can have my own Avengers team.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point. And then you can solve, like, racism, poverty, healthcare system,
Obesity,
failures. Yeah, you can...
women being single.
Yeah, you can...
Cable,
religious trauma.
Yeah. Oh, easy. I'll start my own religion.
Exactly. I mean, there's just... If you just had a bunch of really powerful, ripped, sexy dudes that had really good weapons, then you could probably solve any problem in the world.
You just described
America's
Baywatch.
like...
You literally just describe it. But yeah, this movie is it's all over the place. I don't know if I would I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it again with anybody because there's some great conversations to be had about this movie. And it was awesome seeing Little Richie. I want a Little Richie biopic. Make it happen, WB. Other than that, get this movie out of my face. Get Elvis out of my face. You were never relevant in the black community ever.
Get this wide faced,
No,
wide faced white boy out of my face.
no. I guarantee you, if you show his picture to a lot of women today, I'm pretty sure most of them wouldn't call him attractive.
Yeah, he's just a normal looking dude.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, well, that's the podcast. Thank you so much to our guest, Julia. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Karlan, for having me.
Right. This is actually not a movie podcast. It was actually therapy podcast.
Oh, okay. Who were you therapizing me?
It's actually not a therapy podcast. It's a life switch podcast. You ever seen that TV show, Wife Swap?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
this
yeah.
is. I'm taking over your life,
A life
and
swap.
I'm going to go into IT now.
So you're gonna travel back in time and get trapped in my consciousness until you solve the problem of.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, you got to solve the problem of how I'm a chubby little boy with religious trauma that loves eating little Debbie cakes, and until you can help me
Wait, is
get
that
some
really you?
perspective on that.
You made it seem like it was you.
That is me.
Oh,
What do you
wait,
mean?
it is? Wow.
Yeah. My name's
Well,
Cody. I'm a chubby little boy.
okay, well, the same logic applies. I'm still trying to catch up auto at
I'm
you.
very close with my mom. I'm kind of afraid of my dad, and he's pretty mean to me most of the time.
Oh, well, I can solve that too.
Yeah.
I'll just turn
Yeah,
him into a mom.
I hate my dad. He's a real dick to me.
I will cut something off and turn him into a mom. You have two moms.
Yeah, that could we'll see. I mean, we'll see. He could still be a dick,
Yeah.
but
But without a dick. Yeah, there's the puns. But yeah, but thank you again for joining the podcast.
yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me. It was super fun. It's super nice to chat, share our trauma a little bit, see the ways that our lives have been kind of similar, even though from the outside they might appear to be very different. In terms of entertainment industry versus military. I definitely have a different perspective on that a little bit now.
Awesome. Well, that's great. All right, Starfighters, that is the podcast. Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening to this wherever you find your podcast, leave a review, and I will see you on the next one. But until then, victory or death, Starfighters.
Victory or death!